Well, hello, my friends. Welcome to another one of these special Friday editions of Trending. Today's Friday, December 2nd. It's about 10:45, and we're doing it. We're filming today on Friday for a couple of reasons. But first of all, Joe, we missed last week because it was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
This Thursday, you are on the road traveling. I think a lot of people will probably know what you're up to, but why don't you let people know where you are and what you're up to this weekend?
Yes, at the moment, I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm getting ready to run the St. Jude Half Marathon tomorrow. So I'm staying in the Peabody Hotel. It's the old historic hotel here in Memphis. This is one with all the ducks. So like if you actually I don't know, YouTube Peabody Hotel, like you'll see this duck demonstration because actually trained ducks to do a show. And it was going on yesterday and people were there for it. Like it was legit. So tomorrow, 20,000 runners will run the streets of Memphis to raise money for St. Jude. They raise about $12 to $15 million in this one day. It's a neat thing. And so I think my fifth time running a race for St. Jude. And it's just powerful. There's a part of the course where you run. I think I may have mentioned this on Trending before, but you actually run through the St. Jude campus and kids line the street with their families. And it's just super meaningful. And one of my donors, granddaughter from Wichita, is here actually this week getting cancer treatment. She's going to fly home, not going to be here for all the fanfare, but this is not just a Memphis thing. It's like a worldwide thing, but it's also a Wichita thing. And so it's neat to see those connections come about. And I was actually talking to somebody from St. Jude recently. It was last night. And they mentioned they just added somebody from their team from Wichita. So like they're even employing people for Wichita. So I don't know, man, it's neat to kind of be in a place where this type of benevolence happens. And this is just a lot of fun too. So I'm looking forward to it, but I'm, of course, bummed being away, but it's nice to try to do this. So.
Yeah, I think it's really cool you do that. And I know you've shared an article that they wrote about you. Last year, you ran this thing in a suit, got a little bit of attention for that. And then this year, you're running as your hero, Ted Lasso, which again, the stash is coming in real nice. But so is it too late for people still to donate? If people want to learn more or donate, will you drop a comment somewhere? Or what we're going to learn more about it?
Yeah, they can totally donate. If you go to my Facebook page, I host a fundraiser there. And I think my Instagram account in the bio, there's a link there if they would like to. So I had a goal of 7,500. I've passed that, and people can still give for the next couple of weeks or so. Yeah, if people like to give, I know that this is the time of year where we all get hit up for stuff, and so there may not be an allowance for that, but if you feel compelled, I don't know, St. Jude is wonderful. So before they started the fight with childhood cancer, is only 20% of kids were long-term survivors, and now 80% are because of St. Jude. And they give away all the research, they're not trying to have any propriety over it. It is just, yeah, it's wild. So if that's something you feel a burden for, St. Jude is definitely a place where you can contribute. So
very cool. Well, kudos to you and good luck on the race tomorrow. It'll be fun to follow along and see and hear how that goes. So way to go.
Yeah,
it's a very cool thing.
It'll be cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, as we typically do here, we take the day, the week's kind of headlines and try to throw in our faith perspective wherever we can. Joe, it's December, and so already we're starting to see all over the place this kind of year in review, 2022 wrap up. This week was the Spotify Wrapped week, which is a big deal for a lot of us who spend a lot of time on Spotify. Yeah. Those playlists and those little the graphics and videos they make for you, it's pretty cool. So who is your top artist and song? Do you remember?
Yeah, and what I like about it, to get there, what I like about it is they try to create the widest thing so you feel impressed by your music listening skills, right? Yes. And so one of the things they told me one of my slides is that I'm a voyager. That's my music personality type, because I kind of journeyed into a new genre. So I started listening a lot more country this year. And so actually Morgan Wallen was my number one. But I listen to a lot of country. Ezra can tolerate it. And every now and again, I kind of hear him humming a song or two on his own. So I feel like it's getting into, but Ginger and Avery are not there for it. So it's only usually when he and I are in the car. So how about you, man?
Well, my number one artist was Reliant K. I think probably mostly because I saw them in concert this year. And so I was kind of listening to them a lot, kind of amping up for the concert. But one of the slides said that I was in the top 0.05% of Reliant K listeners. So I listened to a lot of AK this year, But also, I think one of my favorite bands right now is Colony House. So they were my number one song. So anyway, I had a lot of Colony House, and Reliant K was the top artist. So those things are fun. I like that stuff.
Yep, that's cool stuff. And it was fun is like, so Avery's favorite hockey team, it's a women's hockey team. They have a new league, and her favorite team, like on their Instagram, in their socials, they're like putting all their like main players, top 5 on there. It's like, you can kind of
Nice.
get to know them. It's kind of a cool conversation starter too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of that, what I was getting to is, so we're in the next few weeks, we need to talk about this, Joe. We'll do some of our kind of fun end of the year stuff that we've been doing the past, I guess, the last year here on Trending. But today I wanted to talk about kind of the main thing we'll talk about today is People Magazine. Every year they pick their person or the persons of the year to kind of personify what happened this year. So it's kind of a, just a trend or a buzzy headline. We're kind of course, they just want people to buy the magazines, right? But I think it is kind of interesting to look back. I was looking back at the past few years, who the previous winners have been. So like Elon Musk was last year. Biden and Harris were the year before that. So anyway, it's just kind of, it is kind of a timestamp of the big, whatever happened that year. So this year they did something, they do this every once in a while, but not very often, where they actually had 4 different winners, and they'll each have their own cover. So again, they're just trying to get everybody to buy a bunch of magazines. But
Yeah, there you
go. But they picked 4 people with kind of a theme. So their theme was celebrities who were here to help in 2022.
Okay.
So with again, there's just a lot of turbulence in the world. So they picked 4 celebrities who kind of use their platform to do some good. So I'll just run through them here real quick, Joe, and then we can kind of chat through them a little bit if we want to. But so first up was our, friend of the show, Matthew McConaughey was one of the 4.
All right.
There you go. So I didn't know this until when the news broke, but he's actually from Uvalde, Texas. So when the shooting happened there earlier this year, he was kind of a vocal supporter. He did a lot to help the families. I think he was active in some of the political stuff. So he was especially since he was from there, he kind of took up that cause and made that a big part of his year this year. Another one, remind me, Joe, are you an Abbott's Elementary fan?
No, I have never, I don't know such things.
Okay. Me neither. I don't really know about either, but Abbott Elementary is kind of one of the big kind of buzzy sitcoms on TV right now. And so the show creator and one of the main stars of it, so Kinta Brunson is her name. She's one of the 4. And I think her goal behind creating the show is it's supposed to be a kind of multi-generational show. One of these shows that you can watch all ages. She's Black, and so most of the cast is Black. So they try to make it a really cast a wide net for a lot of people, that show that a lot of people will enjoy. It won several Emmys, and I think it's one of these it's really one of the only network shows that I think gets a lot of buzz. Most of the kind of buzzy shows are all on streaming, but Abbott Elementary is kind of the one network show. So anyway, kind of a cool thing there. Jennifer Hudson was one of the 4.
Okay.
She started a new talk show this year, and she had a kind of similar goal, where she wants to make it a platform for everyone. Kind of, it's not your kind of typical talk show. She's trying to be a little bit more inclusive with the guests that she has on and the way that she programs her show. And this year, she was also the youngest female to ever be an EGOT. So she's 41 years old, and she won. I'm not sure what she won this year. I'll have to go check, but she won one of them this year. She made the youngest female ever to do that. So that's kind of a cool thing for her. Yeah. And then finally, Mina Kunitz was also one of the 4, and she's from Ukraine. Yeah. And so she did a lot this year to help raise money specifically for immigrants in Ukraine. And she was kind of one of the American celebrities in the spotlight since she's from there. That kind of helped bring a lot of visibility to the conflict in Ukraine. Yeah. So, Joe, I don't know if you have any comments on either any of the 4 of those, but I like the overall theme of these are 4 people, 4 names you probably know, faces you've seen, and they're trying to use their platform for good. And so that's something that I think we kind of try to talk about a lot, is for people who, if they kind of get elevated to a certain status, how do they handle their wealth, their fame? And these are 4 people who are kind of choosing to try to direct that spotlight something beyond themselves, which I think is a great thing to think about.
Yeah, I think this is probably the sweet spot for a celebrity. I was listening to a great podcast. I forget who it was. It may have been the Truth Over Tribe guys or somebody akin to that. But they were talking about celebrity, and particularly like celebrity culture in churches. And their guest talked about how celebrity, you achieve that status when your influence goes beyond your physical reach. Like you kind of get out there further, like a church really has influence on those who attend the church. But then like when that minister, that worship band begins to shape, wider Christianity, that's when they're like in the celebrity status. And one of the things that comes with a cost of that is that you're not you can't be well known because you're kind of untouchable and unapproachable. It seems like whenever the farther out you get, the less known you can become in order to kind of like make it all work. And so what I like about celebrities trying to use their platform for good is that it actually humanizes them a little bit. You see them not just with canned speeches and one-liners or like a press release from their publicist, but these folks get behind microphones and they're like visibly shaken or stirred or energized by thing out there. And I think that's just probably a good thing for them as individuals too.
Yeah. And I'm also glad that the magazine People chose that theme, right? Like there's a lot of news in 2022. There's a lot of kind of political or, high profile people they could have picked that would have, been appropriate probably in a year like last year. But I like that they kind of didn't go that route, but instead chose to highlight some people who are giving back, doing some good in the world, doing good in the community. And I just feel like people want more and more of those stories, right? We're just so inundated with news and bad news usually. And so it's just nice to kind of purposely elevate the stories of people who are doing some good in the world.
Yeah, man. That's good.
Yep. See, we were chatting just briefly before we started recording, Joe. I thought it'd be kind of fun if you and I this is always dangerous, especially since we're recording, live on the spot here. But I thought it'd be kind of fun to throw out some shout outs to people who are some of the Ridgepoint people of the year. And this is not an exhaustive list. This is top of the dome. You and I are thinking about people that we know who've done some really cool things this year. I've got one person in mind. Do you want me to go first, or who are some of your Ridgepointers who have done some really good things this year?
Well, there's several. A couple of come to mind. So my kids are both now in student ministry. We got a great student ministry team, obviously. Their volunteers are great too, because they attend everything. Like just this past week, a couple of days ago, I picked up Avery Nezzer from Dave & Buster's all the way on the east side of town. Parents are there, picking up their kids, but then like their like adult volunteers are there too. So I think the world of Pete and Kim Galusha, they're there and they're investing in kids' lives. Kim even showed up to my daughter Avery's performance of The Music Man, as did other Ridgepoint people. I drove all the way across town to support her. And it's just neat because one of the things that you cherish is other adults besides you investing in your kids. Mm-hmm. And so I think whenever we see that, that's something that I'm really, that's just something I'm really encouraged by. And so, yeah, for all the student ministry, kids ministry volunteers that are here, non-paid time, investing in the lives of others, man, I'm here for it. That's good stuff.
Yeah, that's good choice. The first person that came to my mind was Rhonda Heary.
Yeah, man.
I love Rhonda. Like she puts so much time and thought into all the South Campus, the Cessna Elementary Bible Club stuff. I know she just is always there and she's always excited about it. She's always has some kind of story about a cool thing that's happened there. She's just gone all in on investing in that neighborhood of Wichita. Even before we had the campus building there, she was all in on doing the Bible clubs there. And I feel like this year, that whole ministry has just grown so much in the South Campus stuff, the partnership that's growing between the church and the school, had the service project that we obviously highlighted a few weeks ago. And I can just tell Rhonda has found her niche. Like she just loves the kids in this area and she goes all in on this ministry. I think it's awesome. So she deserves a shout out, I think.
Yeah. And another thing that came to my mind is like in our construction season, just how flexible a lot of people have been, including like volunteer leaders and Sunday schools and kids ministry stuff. Like some of our Ridgepointers may not know, but like there are Sunday schools meeting every week offsite, and that's not easy, right? Like you have to show up in a space that we use for like a birthday party just the night before, something like that, and try to, host discussion in Christian ed. I mean, I just think the world of that. I mean, we can go on and on, but I don't know, man. It's been neat to watch the body of Christ. Something that John Wesley says is that the church is not as much an organization as it is an organism. It's living, it's breathing. Therefore, it adapts and evolves in order to meet needs and to grow and expand. And I think we've seen that in just a plurality of ways at Ridgepoint this year.
Very cool. Yep, I like that. One more person I want to give a shout out to, Julie Zilke. She's like our Operation Christmas Child czar. Like she just always leads that every year. And we posted on Facebook and Instagram last night. We had another record year where we packed a ton of boxes, and thousands get dropped off here that our team processes, that they go out to the different, centers around the country where they go out around the world. And so I know, especially at this time of year, Julie spends a ton of time getting all that organized. And it's just such a great ministry that I know a lot of people really enjoy. So
Yeah.
she's an all-star too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yep. We could go on and on, man. There's just, I mean, everywhere you look, this is fantastic people. And as things go, 90% of what we could observe, we don't observe, right? And that's where like our Christian discipleship, growing in our faith, where serving and worship has to blend together. The last parable that Jesus uses in Matthew's gospel, it's like the dividing of the sheep and the goats. And the punchline of that parable is, here are all these people without being prodded are doing the kindest things in the world.
Yep.
And the king says, like, whatever you did to these, you also did to me. And so in the Christian world, in the Christian life, work and worship mold together. And so for those of us who like, we really do like serve the Lord, but it's not seen, it is unto God, and it's never forgotten, and it's witnessed. And I think he cherishes it in his heart as we do so.
Yeah, it's good. That's a good tie-in. And I just continue to be blown away by the generosity of Ridgepoint people. Like, we're going to meet our budget this year, or at least meet our expenses. I'm not sure where we exactly are, but we're going to be fine financially. But we're also obviously in the building season where people are given a lot extra to go towards the building. And we just had the biggest big offering ever again last year. Like, we just shattered, we're giving away 100% of last week's offering to great ministries, and we shattered another record. And like you said, people are doing Operation Christmas Child, and a lot of people probably gave to St. Jude, and we're getting hit up for all these donations, and people are just coming through. Like, I think people are just generous. And going back to the people thing, like, I just like that we're surrounded by those kinds of people who, the world is a mess continually, but there's good people who are doing their part to just help out a little bit. And I'm grateful that our church seems to be full of a lot of those kinds of people.
Yep. And this is how like people grow in their faith. Paul's main mechanism to grow new disciples in the New Testament was mimicking. He's like, follow me as I follow Christ. The things you've seen, put into practice. And so when we're scratching our heads going, how are we going to help new believers or young believers or struggling believers? Like, how do we help move along in their faith? Our mind might think a lecture, a Bible study, a podcast, a YouTube series, a video, whatever, but really it's just taking them along with us as we serve people. And that I think is a better message at times than a lot of stuff that we can try to come up with on scratch paper.
Yeah, so that's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I think our time's up. We've kind of gone all over the place today, but really good conversation here. And Joe, we will be rooting for you from a distance tomorrow. Run your Ted Lasso self through that marathon. We'll be excited to hear about it when you get back. So good luck tomorrow, man.
Sounds good, dude. Thanks.
Yep. Thanks for taking time out of your Memphis time to do this. And thanks to all of you watching. Hope you have a great rest of your week. See you Sunday, and we'll be back for training again next week. So thanks for being here. See you next time.
Cheers.